I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to prepare one of my favorite springtime vegetables. You probably guessed it, asparagus. So prime time asparagus season is from May to June, at least where I am. I'm in the Northeast. So first of all, let's talk about how we choose asparagus, because that's the first thing, right? So when you go to the store, it's going to be wrapped like this. A little bit different if you go to a farmer's market. I couldn't go to a farmer's market, so I bought this at a regular grocery store. You want to look for, first thing is firm tips, right? They need to be closed. If they're open up, do not buy it. It needs to be firm and not kind of, sometimes you just look at asparagus and you can see it kind of wrinkled. No, don't even go near that. So I'm going to unwrap this. So you want to be firm. So this is fairly firm. It could be a little firmer, but fairly firm. Then there is this technique that a lot of people tout, is that, oh, let's just bend the asparagus where it snaps and that's where you cut it off. No, I don't do that at all. You waste too much. It's always different. You can end up with asparaguses like this, like that. So normally, you know, it's very woody for about 2 to 3 inches, depending on the type of asparagus. A little less so with the pencil asparagus, which I'll get to in a minute. So what I do is I line up the tips, so I can have basically all the asparagus the same size for presentation's sake. Now I'm going to do this in 2 batches, and I'm going to take off about 3 inches, because I want it super tender. As further you go up, the more tender the asparagus is. And I do this before I peel it, because I don't have to waste my time peeling the piece I'm not using. Now, that didn't go on the floor. I have my compost bin right here. Very convenient, right? I'm all about efficiency. So then I have my asparagus trimmed, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it next in a minute. I'm going to do the same, line it up. Now you could take this and make soup out of it, not throw it away. You can make a sauce out of it, but for today's sake, I'm just going to put it in my compost bin and be done with it. Okay. Pencil asparagus. You have sizes of asparagus. Jumbo, I like even mine a little larger. At my restaurant, I serve like they're called jumbo asparagus, a nice big fat asparagus. Pencil asparagus. So the same thing. So you want to look for the same thing. Firm heads, pretty crispy, not pretty, as crisp as possible. And take off these annoying rubber bands. And I'll do the same thing. You don't have to go up as high on the pencil asparagus, because it's not as tough. The outer layer of skin is not as tough. But I'm going to come up, line my tips up, boom, and do the same thing here. Voila. Now, you want to do this part as soon as you get your asparagus. I'm going to show you how to keep it really fresh, or if you're going to have to wait a day or two especially. But even if you're going to cook it that evening, this technique will freshen up the asparagus. It'll rehydrate it, because once it is harvested, it starts to lose moisture and sugar. So you want to reintroduce that moisture back. And I'm just going to put it in a container, like a quart container. And what this will do, kind of like when you do flowers, is this will absorb up through the base of it and then refresh the asparagus. If you have asparagus that's really, really old, there's a little hack that you can add a pinch of sugar, a teaspoon of sugar to the water, and it'll revise some of the sugar content. Because once it's harvested, it starts to lose its freshness and sugar. Okay. Clean down our station. Again, this is not going on the floor, it's going right into my compost pile. Okay, so I'm not going to peel the pencil asparagus. I am, however, going to peel the medium size. And you have to be careful, especially with super fresh asparagus. If you go like this, and a lot of cooks, even a lot of chefs, will peel their asparagus like this, then it snaps. So this is pretty fresh. So again, if you go like this, you put pressure on it, oh, it snaps. So what you want to do is you want to lay it flat on a base like this. If you don't have something like this, you can use a container, any type of container, If you don't, you need a little bit of height here to hold it. And I'm going to leave about 3 inches from the tip. And you peel. Okay, so that's peeled. A little cleanup here. Whoop. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to prepare asparagus today. We're going to blanch the larger asparagus in salted boiling water, chill it in an ice bath, and then this pencil asparagus, I'm going to roast it in the oven. You can saute it. It's excellent grilled, and it just takes like 3 minutes. And it's a great way of cooking asparagus where you don't leach any of the flavor out in the water, and it retains all its flavor and sugars. And roasted is a totally different eating experience with asparagus. They both have their advantages, though. Okay, at the stove, obviously. First up, we're going to blanch the asparagus. Not very technical at all, but there is something I'm going to show you, so pay attention. Okay, just some water. Now you don't have to do this. I prefer to do this in a shallower pan so the asparagus doesn't get all crumpled up and I can keep it nice and straight. Good amount of salt. You've heard the saying, like seawater for pasta, right? Same thing with asparagus and vegetables. You want a good amount in there because that is going to infuse into the asparagus spears and it amplifies the flavor of the asparagus. So plenty of salt. Put a cover on this so it comes to a boil quicker. While we're waiting on the water, I'm going to roast the asparagus. All right, so I have the pencil asparagus. I'm just going to put it on a sheet pan. Again, you can grill this. I have a grill that goes on top here. I could grill it and get a little more like smoky flavor. But this is just really easy, right? I'm just going to add extra virgin olive oil. Season this. Salt, pepper. And that's it. Just very simple. We just want to make sure it gets well coated in the olive oil. And I want to lay it out flat. I don't want it piled up like this because it'll start to steam. I don't want it to steam. It gets this funky flavor if it steams. So we'll lay these flat. And these are, they're going to cook in like 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to cook it at very high heat at 450 degrees. Okay, into the oven. And we'll check on them in a few minutes. Okay, I hear the water boiling. I can smell the water boiling. I'm the food whisperer. It's speaking to me. It's boiling water. Okay, here we go. It is boiling. Now, here's the little trick, okay? Little pro tip. I'm going to lay these asparagus down flat, and the tips all facing this way. And I'm going to move the pot so the source of the heat is, it's boiling at the stem where it's the thickest. So it's going to cook quicker down here than the tips where it gets skinnier. So I won't overcook the tips. So I keep the stem at the boiling end. This is not boiling up here, it's simmering. And by the time the end of the asparagus are cooked, so well the tips, and they'll be perfectly cooked throughout evenly. Okay, ice bath, very important to cool down. This is with any green vegetable. You want to cool down as fast as possible to retain all that beautiful color. Now I prefer asparagus, there's al dente where it means a bite to the tooth a little bit. However, I like my asparagus a little more crunchier than that. So that's a matter of taste, but I like mine to be very al dente, whatever that means. All right, I'm going to check the oven to see how our roasted asparaguses are doing. Looking good. I'm just going to give them a little roll here, just so they cook evenly. And they're almost there. Almost there. So sometimes you got to get in there and keep the stems in line because they want to kind of take a little walk. So I keep an eye on it and keep those stems facing the boiling water. If you notice, there's no boiling here. It's all boiling here. So the stems are cooking a little quicker than the tips. I often get asked, how does white asparagus become white? Well, it is green asparagus, but during the growing process, they cover it completely with a burlap or some other material that doesn't allow the sunlight to hit the asparagus. Therefore, it doesn't develop the chlorophyll. And the flavor profile is a little bit different, a little bit sweeter. But I would have had it here for you, but it wasn't in the market. But if you ever see white asparagus, it's considered a real delicacy, and especially in Europe, that it's always on menus in the springtime. Every fine dining restaurant will have it, as well as green asparagus. Okay, this is done. I can tell by looking at it, but you can just feel a little bit. Now, another tip I'm going to give you is you got to let this cool completely. A lot of cooks, even a lot of chefs, I know, they'll let this get cold just for like a minute or two. It feels cold on the outside, but the interior is still warm. And what happens when you put the asparagus away in the refrigerator and the interior is still warm, it yellows the asparagus and it's very unappetizing. So a good 8 to 10 minutes, letting it chill completely through the asparagus will guarantee it will be nice and green for later. Let's look at the roasted asparagus. That was about 5 minutes. It's done. It's so simple. It's still very al dente. And I'll just take it right onto the platter here, right from the pan. Now you can serve this right away. I would do this like right before dinner service, so I don't have to cool it off and reheat it because it's so quick to cook. And as long as you have the oven space, just boom, right from the oven on the plate, on the table. Okay, let's give it a try. Oh, hot. Perfect. Al dente. It's just simple. All about asparagus flavor. No sauce, anything. You don't need anything. Just with salt and pepper. All right. These have been cooling off for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to drain them now. Okay. I just had a thought. I'm going to do a dish right now on the spot. Spontaneous. Stay tuned. Coming up. You're going to love it. Okay. So, just while I'm cooking, I'm always thinking, and this is what chefs do, professional chefs do, they think of something as they're going along and making a recipe, and they come up with an idea, and they're spontaneous, right? I am going to fry some eggs to put on top of the roasted asparagus and make it a dish. So, roasted asparagus on the side, as a side dish. Now I'm going to make it a meal. Great lunchtime meal, late night snack. All right, so I'm going to get the pan good and hot. Now I'm going to show you how to make a stainless steel nonstick. These eggs are not going to stick to the stainless steel. I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, it's watch. I'm going to show you a trick. So I'm going to crack the eggs ahead of time. So hot pan, you get the pan hot first. Stainless steel, you want the heat to hit the pan. It opens the pores up in the stainless steel, and that's how it becomes nonstick. The oil gets into those pores, and it makes it non-stick. Now I have avocado oil, which is a very high smoke point, 450 degrees. You can use olive oil. You can use another type of oil, but my two primary oils are avocado and olive oil. All right, so we're going to get this good and hot, shimmering, almost smoke. And when it starts to smoke, you're going to put the eggs in. And then most important thing is you don't touch it. If you start shaking a pan, you start moving, trying to get it's going to stick. So what happens is the egg proteins, when they start to cook, they release from the pan. So this is a classic fried egg as they would do in Spain, or this is a hard fried egg. Now I like to do soft over easy eggs too as well, but I would use a non-stick pan because it has to be hot for it to become non-stick. All right, the oil is good and hot. It's starting to shimmer, and it's starting to smoke just a little bit. All right, in go the eggs. Okay, do not touch them. I know what you want to do. You want to get in there and you want to move them around. You want to shake the pan. Don't do it. So it's a little sticky now, but trust me, in about 35, 45 seconds, they're going to release. And then we're going to have beautiful hard fried eggs, I call this. And if you want, you could take a little bit of the oil and baste. I don't have a lot of oil in here, but if you had more oil, you could baste the egg whites a little bit more. But I don't mind runny eggs so much. Okay, look, I didn't touch it with this. See, non-stick, I told you. Okay. Oh man, that is gonna be so good. So all I'm gonna do with this, a little bit of olive oil, some Nordic sea salt, all right, now I'm gonna add some pepperoncini. That'll do it, just a little bit. And that is gonna be so delicious. I'm looking so forward to digging into this. Man, wish you were here. All right, let's give this a try. I know, I don't even have to try it. I know it's gonna be extraordinary. Okay. Oh. This is really a terrific combination. A little bit of egg, a little bit of asparagus in each bite. Oh. Oh man, that's exquisite. So rustic, you know, very simple rustic dish. Egg and asparagus, 2 ingredients, and it is just Towel drop, man.